Hi, Amrita, and welcome to Budapest.
Thank you so much.
Tell us, how did we get here? You are here in Budapest with me after so many years of being together in India on Indian excavations. So, how did this happen? Can you believe it?
I think I can, but yeah, it goes as far back as 2008, I guess. That's when we both were students and we met in Farmana excavation. That was my first excavation with our common mentor, Professor Vasant Shinde. And I was there for a very long time, and I remember meeting you, and we were staying in the same room, the floors, and we were sleeping on the floors and all. And what really makes me happy is the fact that we both have, I mean, of course, we became good friends, but at the same time, our career curve professionally and emotionally and in every other way also, developed in the same way. Like we evolved from being just PhD students and very aspiring archaeologists to a professional archaeologist and mentors today, you in your country and me in my country.
Yes, because after finishing your PhD, you became a faculty at Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute, which is located near Mumbai in the city of Pune.
Yes.
And I have become faculty member and head of department at the Bhaktivedanta College.
And that makes me so proud.
Thank
so
you.
proud of you.
Thank you. And I remember when I was at the excavations together, then people were really happy to learn that I study Sanskrit, and even more I teach Sanskrit. So somehow or other, we all found like a place for our inspirations,
Yes.
and still continue to be together.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Our college recently joined to the Erasmus Plus mobility program, and we are so glad to receive you as our very first guest lecturer from India with this Erasmus Plus program. So tell us, what were your first impressions when you arrived to Europe? If I'm correct, this is your first
My first
trip.
ever time. Yeah, my first time in Europe. I've been to America before. I've been to Iran and Sri Lanka, but never to Europe.
So, how was the experience?
You see, initially it was like when you had asked me, I think it goes back almost a year, exactly a year back, when for the first time you had called. I mean, you were, I think, traveling to Bhutan. And
That's true. With an Erasmus Plus mobility
Yes.
program.
And I think you were in the Kolkata airport, and when you were sitting in the Kolkata airport, I think you thought of me, and then
That's
you
right.
had you messaged me. I received a message and where you said that, I'm traveling to Bhutan and now I'm transiting through Kolkata. I'm sitting in the airport, and you talked about. I mean, you mentioned to me about this program, and you said. Would you like to come to my institute, to teach my students about Indian archaeology, culture, heritage, and music? Do you think you would love to do it as a possibility? And I think it didn't even take me like a minute or so to answer. Like, of course, yes, that would be wonderful. And I was so happy and so ecstatic. And it's besides that, I mean, of course, I mean, you're such a dear friend of mine, and we have been in touch for the last 15 years. I mean, we have our emotional connection at a separate level, of course. It's not only professional. That actually friendship first and profession later.
Right.
That's how it has become. But at the same time, it's such a privilege and honor for me. I mean, I cannot express in words my gratitude for this institute, for this program, to your honorable rector, and of course to you.
Oh, and of course, I know you for a long time as an archaeologist, but I have always known that you have some other interests too, and that you are a professional musician. So when you said yes to the Erasmus mobility program, I immediately thought that, okay, she's coming to the Bhaktivedanta College, which is about the heritage of Vaishnavism, and we are especially rooted into the Bengali Vaishnavism. And of course, presently you are a resident of Pune, but you are from Bengal.
Yes.
So I couldn't just miss the opportunity to invite you not just as an archaeologist, but also as a musician. So finally, we agreed that you will have two topics. One is archaeology, Indian archaeology, with the specialization of Neolithic, and the other is traditional Bengali music. So you already had some of these classes. What were your impressions to teaching about these things to Hungarian students? Have you ever taught students abroad?
No. So this was my first time teaching students abroad. And again, this takes me back, like almost a year back when we were discussing over the emails that what topic should I cover. And when you offered me this traditional Bengali music, I was like so happy and ecstatic because this is for the first time that in such a program, apart from it, of course, I'm traveling as an archaeologist. That is my primary identity profession. But because music has been such an important part in my life since I was a young kid, and I have been trained so long in Indian classical music, and I have professionally pursued music, for a few years when I was in Kolkata. During my graduation and my master's, I had my own band and I sung for, I was a playback singer for Bengali movies and jingles and all that. And I took part in reality shows also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes. This was something, but then of course, I was also decent in studies, and somehow I got so interested in archaeology during my master's that I decided that I would like to do archaeology, like pursue archaeology as my higher studies. And of course, I took that as a profession also. But I have never left my music, go. I continue to learn, and every year I, release my own songs and I produce my own songs and I do some. Of course, I'm not that much of a performing artist because I don't have the time.
Of course.
I do concerts, but they are very limited because also, apart from job, archaeology, I have a family. I have an 8-year-old son. Okay. So I have to, make out time for him. So I have to really balance. But this was such a happy thing for me. And I remember when you gave me the options, I was like, oh, I would do traditional Bengali music, but then I can sing. It will be like a demonstrative lecture. It's a demo lecture. It won't be just theory. Like I can talk about the whole evolution of traditional Bengali music, starting from the Chorjapod, the Vaishnav Padavali, the Kirtans, the Baul, Rabindranath Tagore, Nojrul. And I can sing each of this genre and I can give them a taste of what traditional Bengali music is. And of course, I am from Bengal. I'm from the land of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well as Rabindranath Tagore. I think they both have a very strong influence in Hungarian culture.
That's true.
So I was very happy. And about the lectures that you asked.
Yes, because this already happened.
So
you were there with all the Hungarian students around you, and you were singing in Bengali together with playing the harmonium.
Yes. And I also made them sing in Bengali. They all sang, Amay Ridmajari, a very popular folk Bangla song. And they sang it so perfectly, in Bangla lyrics. That was so touching. And in both of these lectures, I think that was the most touching moment for me, because when I was, making them sing with me and they were singing with me, I just felt this personal melodic bridge that was happening between me and them, through which, two cultures were melting into one pot. And that's so beautiful. That's the story of, humanity. Don't you think so?
Exactly.
So it was it's like really a wonderful experience for me.
So did you have any interaction with the students, or did you have any feedbacks on this?
Oh yes, on the first lecture when I was, which was about importance or role of archaeology in modern India, like in shaping modern India, and when I was telling them about my background and my story of how I accidentally came into archaeology, and that how my interest in archaeology has never really been in this valley. I mean, outside India, if you ask anybody about archaeology of India, one thing everybody will know is Indus Valley or the Harappan civilization, because it is so popular, it's globally popular, because it has got a glamour, it's a civilization, there are big cities, there is monumentality, there is so much in that. But in India is such a unique land that, very few people, even Indian population, they don't know that outside the Indus Valley domain, during the same time period, even predating Indus Valley, there were so many indigenous Chalcolithic culture who were equally adept in farming, equally adept in technological development like copper technology and bead technology, and they were part of this whole bigger Indus trade that was happening across Indian subcontinent and even sort of joining Central Asia and West Asia and Mesopotamia and Oman Peninsula. And probably people do not know about it because they are not taught. Even when I was a student, I mean, this is long back, say 2001 to when I was a master's student, we were not taught, Indus Valley was taught in great details, but I did not have a very good idea about the indigenous Chalcolithic culture. But when I came to know, this was very intriguing to me. Oh. And so I in my lecture, I told that, I am not, naturally drawn towards glamour. I am more interested in the mundane daily life, which people generally are not interested into, because I think that's where life is, the small things in life. That's where life is. And I think this really touched one of the students. Oh. So after the lecture, he came to me and he said, okay, you mentioned this. Can you tell me, how do you balance between this? I mean, why do you think you are not attracted to the glamour or something, and you are so, you are grounded and you are more interested in knowing the people who had a very simple, mundane daily life. You want to know about them. So I told them that probably this is where my training in anthropology or archaeology helps, because what it does is it helps us to develop a bird's eye perspective of, of life, of living. And how humanity has evolved culturally. And so when you have that kind of a bird's eye perspective, patterns are very clear, right? And one beautiful thing about pursuing this discipline is that, I mean, most of us, like you and me, in our country, we come from very urban backgrounds. Like, we are from metropolitan cities. We have been given very good education throughout. Our parents are very well educated. So somewhat very educated, privileged sort of a background. But because of our discipline and because we are primarily field archaeologists, we go into the field and work. It also gives us this unique opportunity to travel to the most remotest area where still you don't get Wi-Fi. And sometimes you are really cut off from the rest of the world. And you get to meet these people who are really different, who has a very different perspective about life than the way we know life or we think of life. So that is something that I think has made me who I am and has given me that deep knowledge that, I personally feel that we often associate our happiness with something external, with a material thing. Or what happens is sometimes we think, oh, when this A happens or B happens, or when I get this C, I'll be very happy. Mm-hmm. Then when it actually happens, you don't really feel that happy. Like, it's not different. So you realize that you have been associating yourself with something, your happiness with something external, but actually it's something internal. Happiness is internal. I mean, so I think some of the students really got attached. And I said that, it's more about looking inside and not outside and all. So I think I was able to, they found my lecture, my talk, and my way of looking into past society very relatable.
Yes, because, when you come and you teach these classes, you bring you bring your own heritage with yourself. So it's not just that you present the scientific facts, but you also just give perspective. And I think that your tradition just shines through you. Like, for example, I really like when you told that story of your mother when you asked some difficult question about life to her. Like, what did she say to you?
So, when I was pregnant with my son, for the first time in my mind, of course, I'm a devout Hindu. I believe in soul. I believe in, the traveling of soul and reincarnation and all that, of course. But I really never thought about it or had any questions about it in my mind. But when I became pregnant, for some reason, the question that came to my mind that when does the soul enters the mother's womb? Okay, because we differentiate the soul from the physical body. So sometime the soul has to enter the physical body, and when does it really enters? And of course, my mom is she's a very well-educated person, and she has read all this. She's very well-versed with Vedic literature and, the Bhagavad Gita and everything. And when I asked her, Ma, do you know when does this soul enters the mother's womb? And, every Indian, Hindus mostly, they think all the answers are in Bhagavad Gita, which is true. And she just said the same thing to me. She said, go and read Bhagavad Gita, you will get your answer. And I did. That was the first time I started. That was pretty late. I was 34, 35. Yeah. Oh. First time. And also I made sure that I read it in my own mother tongue, because I think it's very important that, reading something like this, read in a language that you are really, really comfortable, preferably your mother tongue, because the way it will affect you if you read a translation or something in English, and I'm very well versed in English, but somehow I felt that I should read the Bhagavad Gita in my own mother tongue. So I bought it and I read it. And of course, I found the answer. According to Bhagavad Gita, I found the answer. So yeah, in India still now, it's a very normal thing that whenever we have these deeper questions about life, it's Bhagavad Gita. There's no other way.
So, of course, this 1 week that you spend with us is packed with action. And one of that just happened today. We had this conference which actually went through on the different fields that faculty members and professors of Bhaktivedanta College are occupied with or has been researching. And the topics were in 3 sessions. One was Vaishnava theology, the other was, of course, yoga. But the third one was field trips to India. So we both fit into this category, and I'm so glad that you came and you presented this research that you have been recently did in the field. Please tell a little bit about that. How was the conference experience, and what did you feel like? How did you feel sharing this? Quite not a main. It's not in the main interest in Hungarian people, what happened in Mizoram in the Neolithic.
Yeah, so this was actually the most tricky and the difficult part of this whole program that I have been taking part. Because I was thinking in my mind that my fieldwork is very specialized fieldwork. It makes a lot of sense for India and Indian subcontinent. But how do I present my data and make it relatable to the Hungarian audience and even the professors? Because, why would they want to know about what was happening in Neolithic, in Mizoram, and there isn't really anything that I can compare it with Hungarian prehistory or something. But then I thought that, okay, one way of presenting the data when you're presenting to an audience who may not have the interest in your area or who may not have the same specialization is by presenting it in a story format and that of a personal experience. Like, not the data, but when I was in the field and I was, as an archaeologist, I was in the field and I was trying to, we go to the field because we want to retrieve primary data. What are the challenges and the adventures, of course, that we as field archaeologists, face and go through, and how do we come out of that? And, so what I did is that, of course, I did show them a little bit of data, but I made it sure that I shared lots of interesting stories about my interaction with the local people in Mizoram and how it is so difficult, because Mizoram is a very mountainous landscape and it's very, there's lots of forest and jungle, so it's very wild animal infested. And most of the sites, you will know, archaeological sites are always in the remotest part inside this forest somewhere, which is very much away from the main habitation area. And we really have to take a lot of risks sometimes, actually life-taking risks, in order to go and find these sites and locate them and document them and all that. But in the process, so much of experience, again, life-changing experience that we come across, that not only develops us professionally, academically, but I think somewhere also evolves us spiritually. So I actually shared all those stories, and I think the audience took it very nicely. They were continuously sort of reciprocating and interacting, and they were smiling, and so I understood that, and I think the interpreter, if you would say her name,
Nishanta Lila.
Nishanta Lila. I think she did a beautiful job. Of course, it is actually, the credit should go to her, because through her I reached out to everyone. But I think I had a very good time. Yes.
And you mentioned this life-changing experience that happens when one is on the field. And I think that's very true to me when I went to India and lived in the villages of India. And as you mentioned, sometimes in a very simple way, like in a cowshed. And that experience that you are not anymore in your comfort zone.
Yes.
But you willingly step outside, and that's when real magic happens.
Yes, true. I think we are very blessed in that way, that somehow our discipline and our specialization gives us the opportunity, to see the world and to experience the world in many, many different perspectives. So I think we are very blessed and lucky.
And I think you were really good in conveying this idea to the audience of the
stories
conference.
Always works out whether it is adults or kids, So always share your stories, your personal stories, and it's bound to touch the audience and people who are listening.
So tell us some stories of your visit to Hungary besides the academic part.
Okay, where should I start? The moment I reached in Hungary, I left for Balatonfüred. Okay, I was told by my very dear friend, who is now interviewing me, that, this is a very beautiful lakeside, place. We had the largest deep sweetwater lake in whole Europe, and you will love it. It's very picturesque. You will go there. And never ever she mentioned to me that this was also the place which was visited by Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. Being a Bengali, Tagore runs in our blood. So when I came to know of that, it's very, I should also sort of acknowledge the fact that it was, I think, very illiterate of me not to know this before. I don't know how I missed it. But the fact that when I went there and we were walking along that promenade, and then she suddenly say, "Do you know in whose name this promenade is being named?" And I said, "Whose?"
That was the surprise.
And then she's like, "Rabindranath Tagore." And I think I just stood there. I just stopped for a minute. And I was looking at her and I said, are you joking? I said, no, because Tagore visited Balaton Furad in 1926 and apparently he was here for some poetry reading and then he fell ill and he was admitted in the hospital, state hospital in Balaton Furad, and he was advised to spend 2-3 weeks here because of the medicinal value of the spring water and all.
Even today.
Yeah, and he got healed. He came, he got healed, and of course the rest is history. So Balaton Furad was really, besides the fact that it was such a picturesque, beautiful land for me, and from being a Bengali and coming from Bengal, and somebody who has been singing Rabindra Sangit ever, since I was a little child, and I have been reading Tagore. Tagore is really, his philosophy is imbibed in our conscience, in our values. That's how Tagore is. He is, as I said, he runs in our blood. So it was really emotionally overwhelming for me to know that he was there, and I was walking the same path probably that he had walked once upon a time, and I saw that linden tree that he has sown because of like a thank you note towards the Hungarian people who took so nice care of him. It was really. But one thing I would like to say, that of course I come from a country which has a population density probably 5 times more than Hungary. So not seeing people is something which doesn't work for us. And when I reached Balaton Furad, and considering that it was such a beautiful lakeside, like a tourist, it's like a proper tourist spot, there was hardly any people.
Yes,
so I think
off season. October.
Still, you come to any tourist place off season in India, and I'll show you what it means by off season. And at one point of time, I think I just told her, I am feeling so claustrophobic because there are no people. I don't know what to do with so much space and air. Where are the people of Hungary? Where do they go? But it was such a wonderful experience.
This is a sign you have to come back in season.
Okay, I will. I promise I will. I'll definitely come back in season.
That's very nice to hear. So Budapest is considered like one of the most beautiful cities of Europe, and obviously in the background of many, many movies, not just American ones, but even Indian movies. So how did you imagine Budapest, and what was your experience when you arrived to the capital?
I think it was wonderful. Going to the opera house was, again, a magical experience for me. Not only did we get the tour, but at the end, that opera performance was really magical. And being a singer myself, a performing artist myself, that was in my bucket list, that I have to see the State Opera House. That was wonderful. And then, of course, I still haven't gone to that bridge. Aishwarya Rai, where Aishwarya Rai apparently was in Italy, and this song was shot. So I'm planning to do this. Maybe in next 2-3 days I'll go and probably I'll act like Aishwarya Bachchan, and I'm going to sing this song on that bridge. But it's such a beautiful city. And then we also went to that Octagon Square. It was so beautiful. And of course, again, I was informed by my very learned friend here that for the last 20 years, across the main thoroughfare of Octagon Road, that street, you have a Ratha Yatra. And not only that, what I am really touched about it, that in a country like Hungary, where Christianity is considered, constitutionally as the main religion, or mostly people are Christian here, the fact that something like Ratha Yatra has been continuing for now more than 2 decades guarantees the religious freedom in Hungary. And that's how I think it should be everywhere in the world. I think the world should know about this and learn this from Hungary, that inclusivity is very important, and that's what makes us human, to respect each other, to be tolerant about each and every faith. We all have our own faith. I think everybody's seeking the same thing. The paths are just the different, right? So this shows that Hungary, as not only a country, but as a value, like they do believe in this. I mean, Hungary has this conscience and they believe in this value and they are respecting it for the last 20 years. And this story touched me so much. And I also hope that next time when I come back, I also get to see this Rath Yatra and be a
Yes,
part
that's
of
also
it.
in the season.
Okay,
In the
so
summer season.
next time in the season. In the season, yes.
This is really fantastic. And, while you stayed in Hungary and we got to spend so much time, not just when we were in the field, that's like that's a quiet work, but now we had so much interaction and just seeing you acting with the students and, relating to my colleagues and also sharing your heritage with so much love in your eyes and with your whole heart. I'm really, really glad that we were able to manifest this mobility program and you're here and you're still here and we still have a few more days to spend together.
Yes.
And I'm really looking forward to
Yes,
the rest of...
I'm truly looking forward to it. And at the same time, I'm really sad because my departure days is also coming nearby. I wish I could have stayed a little more and done a little more because I just feel there is so much to say more and there isn't enough time. But there is always a next time and I will definitely come back.
This is what I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
A next time together.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Amrita.
Thank you so much. Thank you.